You remember the McCloskeys? Well, if you're taking a look at that video, you probably do. Patricia McCloskey, her husband Mark McCloskey, have been engaged in a legal battle that has now resulted in them pleading guilty to misdemeanor crimes just yesterday. As a result of that, they're gonna have to forfeit the weapons that they brandished completely irresponsibly there at a group of protesters who happened to be walking by their home. So that's out there. Now, if you don't remember exactly what happened, let's give you a little close-up shot of this interaction. Protesters saying something to her and her doing a weird cosplay of an old-timey criminal. I don't know what she's going for there. Anyway, so she menaced the crowd with her finger on the trigger. Great finger discipline there. They're very responsible gun owners. She pleaded guilty to misdemeanor harassment and was ordered to pay a fine of $2,000. They live in what looks like a mansion, or a museum possibly. So I think they're gonna be able to do that. Her husband is gonna have to give up his AR-15. He was fined $750, which wouldn't even buy you a replacement AR-15. So that's cool. So I don't know, Jordan, is this justice? Like they came so close to accidentally killing protesters or intentionally killing protesters, and they're just gonna have to give up their guns. They can buy new ones, by the way. They're not barred from owning guns. They just can't use those guns.
I think this is everything they wanted, because this is, we're living in an era where even something that we all see objectively as repugnant and horrifying is to certain elements of the right an act of heroism, an act of bravery and courage, and that's why he's running for Senate. And it's just like this is horrifying. That this is the trajectory we're on, where people do things like this, just utterly deranged things that even 10 years ago would just, result in you being shunned from public life, is now what catapults you into a political career. So I'm deeply dismayed. Yeah. This is effectively a slap on the wrist, but these are also, I think both of them are lawyers. So I can't imagine that they would have found themselves in a situation where they actually were punished for anything or met with severe repercussions, because that's just how the justice system works. If you're rich or powerful or connected or educated, you're fine. It's the poor, it's the uneducated, it's the vulnerable, it's the weak, it's the sick. That's who really gets crushed under the weight of our system.
Totally true. They were fined, let's see, was $2,007, less than $3,000. They're gonna raise far more than that off of this. They're gonna use this to get money. That's how it works. You're right. This is how we pick our politicians, at least on the right. Did you do something awful? Are you a terrible person? Oh, good, I know who you are now. So I guess you're one of our leaders. And he's really trying to do that. I mean, he got to speak at the RNC. And we're gonna show you what he's doing now with his new fame. But he tweeted in response to the pleading saying, "A year ago, the mob came to my door to attack my family. I backed them down. The mob came for me, the media attacked me, and prosecutors tried to punish me for defending my family. They dropped all charges except for a claim I instilled imminent fear in the mob. I'd do it again." Which seems like if you're the judge in that, and you give him this slap on the wrist, and then he says, "I'd do it again." Shouldn't you do something about that? It doesn't seem like it worked. But anyway, so he hasn't learned anything, or at least he insists that he hasn't learned anything. The mob didn't come for him. The mob did not march to his house. They weren't going to hurt him or his family or his property. He didn't back them down. They were walking by his property and they menaced those protesters. That is the actual reality of what happened. But that sort of reality doesn't get you a political office. And he would very much like a political office, as you'll see in this video.
My name is Mark McCloskey. A year ago, an angry mob crashed through my gate and threatened my life, my family, and my home. And I stood on the front porch with my AR-15 and I backed the mob down. More recently, the prosecutor has dropped the charges against me, except for a claim that I purposely placed other people in imminent fear of physical harm. And by God, I did. And anytime they come to threaten me, I'll do the same thing again and again and again to protect myself, my home, my family, and our rights as human beings. A vote for McCloskey is a vote for standing your ground. Vote for me and we'll never back down.
Jordan, is there something wrong with me? How do these people look at that and think, that's strong? That's cool. That's alpha right there. I look at him and I think, you pathetic bastard, standing there with his gun like awkwardly held, and his wife's got a pistol. Like, you're filming a campaign ad. What do you have your gun for? You guys were terrified that a protest was near your house. You're so scared all the time. Your constant state of terror is not strength. And I don't know why we need to teach Americans that pathetic people like this, rich bastards, talking about how constantly scared they are, in this case of black protesters, that's somehow strong, that's somehow admirable. I don't get so much about this country, Jordan. What do you think?
All I could see were ISIS videos, like when watching that. Like, how is that any different than some sort of fringe fundamentalist, radical terror cell video or message emerging from the Middle East? Like, this is like, we see those and people clutch their pearls, and it's like, oh well, this reflects all Muslims. It's used to further our jingoism, but like, it's a jarring image when you see that. But like, we're replicating that here. When Boebert shows up for a committee hearing with guns behind her, or now this, he's just standing in front of a green screen, holding a gun with a cross necklace. Like, this is a fundamentalist, dominionist, fascist movement that is emerging, and we have to squash it. There are going to be dozens more of McCloskeys in the next
they're desperate.
few years. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? You either like, and McCloskey's not the worst. Like, Rittenhouse, I'm worried about people like you do terrible things with guns, and you are a hero. I'm really scared right now. Vote for me for Congress. That's effectively what we've set up. By the way, JYPZ Rocks on Twitch said Bunny and Claude. That's pretty funny. I hadn't heard that before. No, this is terrible. You're totally right. They would look at those, like terrorist videos of them like standing against rock walls with weapons and be like, that's terrible. But they're doing the same exact thing. He's wearing he's still wearing the polo and the Dockers or whatever, because I guess that's his uniform. That's his brand now. I don't know. I don't understand people. I don't know why that would be appealing to anyone other than this sort of implicit racism. I wish that we were better than that, but apparently we're not.
Yeah, but on that point, and to distinguish what we talked about, like a radical fringe cell out of the Middle East, Chip Crazy Hawaiian points out, like, the difference is why people are okay with it here and not that is because the McCloskeys are white. If it was Cori Bush and her husband, or Nina Turner and her husband doing something like this in a political ad, the right would be in absolute hysterics. So it is because he is white that he gets away with this kind of stuff.
Exactly. And so he's got his gun. He's strong because he wasn't in any danger, but he had his gun. So if I run for Congress and you see me suit up in full plate mail and I'm holding a double bladed axe and I'm like, I will stand for you. I saw a person. Am I strong? At least in that case, I have to get close to the person to defend myself. That is objectively cooler and stronger than the dude with the AR-15. I swear to God. If I had a samurai sword, if I was one of those kids, those memes, like, that is cooler, but we don't treat it that way. No, you're supposed to get like, if I was to do a campaign ad with me straddling a cannon, can I get elected? Can I be like what? Like a justice on the Supreme Court? I don't understand America.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.